It's raining.
Yes, it's raining, and it shouldn't be.
It's December 9th. Yeah, and it's raining. What do we get? 2 inches last
Yeah,
day, maybe?
yeah, day and a half. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. We have seen creeks running that don't run this time of year.
Yes,
Dry creek beds are running.
yes, deep, ankle deep.
And it started while we were on the mountain today. All right. Well, welcome to the Twilight Hunters podcast. It's Brian Ludicate. Today is December 9th, 2025. This is the last hurrah for the year. We are elk hunting, and I have my friend Sean Moore with me, my old hunting partner,
Yes,
who moved away.
sadly, yes.
And then I moved away. So we finally put together a hunt for this year. We're doing a late muzzleloader elk, which is, as you know, kind of my thing. And it's been,
Interesting.
yeah,
Different.
different. So why don't you refresh everybody? Tell us who you are.
My name's Sean. Used to work with Brian. Been friends for last 8 years.
Yeah, every bit of that. Yep.
Been on lots of hunting adventures together. Had to move farther out west from our current location.
Yeah.
But it was nice that we actually got to get together and do this hunt again.
Yeah. So we kind of planned this to. He got a tag, came up from Communist America, and I got a tag and came down from Free America, and here we are. Watching the weather, when I told you about this tag, I said this is fun.
It was until it wasn't.
Till it wasn't. It's been fun. I take that back, but there's been some stuff. So the weather has been challenging, to say the least, for this time of year. So as we planned this hunt and got closer to it, we were watching the weather forecast, and the weather forecast was calling for a lot of weather coming in, but it was supposed to be cold, which ordinarily would mean snow, which would be normal for this area this time of year.
Yep.
And
We
then
should have snow.
And then it changed. We don't have snow.
There's none.
I think snow level right now is 7,000 feet.
Yeah. So it's just barely.
Barely kissing the tops of anything around us at the moment. So, and the snow that was there is gone and is now water.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Clearly for a muzzleloader hunt, these are tough times. But, so decided to get together. We showed up. Atmospheric River rolled in. And truth be told, we've actually done okay.
Yeah.
We've actually done okay.
We've had some successes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Been some mistakes were made.
Yeah. We've learned some
Learned
things.
a few things, but overall it's been great. So let's start with Saturday. Because you had a buddy here, a friend of your dad's, right?
Yeah. So I got here a little bit early. I've had this tag. Well, I haven't personally had it, but my kids have had it. My wife's had it. Several of my friends have had this tag. I've never not been successful at some point. I have a pretty good idea where the elk are, where they usually kind of hang out. So one of my dad's friends drew the tag. He lives up north, closer to Bryan, and he decided that he wanted to go on the hunt. So I told him that I would give him a hand and dedicate the first few days of my scouting / hunting before Brian got here to help get him done. So went out the first day. It was just me, scouted. We're technically hunting two different units. So my friend Greg, he had the rifle tag, and then we have the muzzleloader tag across a highway on another mountain. So I get here the first day. I find elk on both sides. Find a couple different herds. On the one side that the rifle tag's for, I think I saw several hundred elk. So got him dialed in and set up. Got him in town. We got his motel room set up. I was staying with a couple friends, and then the first day no real success. We weren't able to hunt a whole lot. But the second day, we were getting some weather coming in, and I told him, I was like, look, I saw a big herd. We need to go up there, but it's not going to be easy. I might not have told him exactly how not easy it was going to be, but I figured once we get in there and we see fresh elk sign, he's gonna be all in. Greg's older than I am. He's my dad's age. The mountains are
easy.
You're not my dad's age, okay? So Greg, he get out of the pickup, and there's a little sliver of private property that I go around. And as we're going up the ridge, or up this big draw where I had seen this elk herd going, I thought I heard a coyote. I thought it was a coyote. I put it out of my head. I was like, that was a coyote that I heard. It turned out that it was a bull bugling. And then as we started to approach this herd that...
Wait, what? Time out. Back up. It's December 9th. This is what day? The 4th?
Yeah. Or the 5th. The 4th or the 5th. One of those days.
Would you repeat that?
Yeah. The bulls were bugling. And
Okay,
when I say bulls, I don't mean one. I mean multiples.
That's what I thought you said.
Very much so rutting behavior. So as we start going up this hill, it's not easy. There's snow on the ground, but everything underneath of it is basically mush.
Mind you, Greg is 5 or 6 years older than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we start pulling up the mountain, and then I hear the bulls bugle. So I immediately go into, we got to get there, and we got to get there fast.
We got to go.
Yeah. They're going to be on the move.
Mm-hmm.
So we start trugging up the mountain. Poor Greg, I remember turning around at one point, and he takes his hat off, and I noticed the whole top of his head was red. And I was like, oh, I don't know if we're going to make this happen. But the bulls kept bugling, so I just kept going. He never told me to stop. So we get up on top of the ridge, and I could see the elk. They're probably 800 yards. Brian and I could pull that off, but he wasn't ready for that shot. So we had to get closer. So I said, all right, here's the plan. We got to go up 2 more knobs on this ridge. And by knobs, I mean another 400 feet elevation, at least.
At least up there, yeah.
So we get up the first knob, and I can still see the elk. I'm trying to stay on the backside of the ridge so they don't see us and wind us. Then we just keep going up the hill. So get past the first knob. I look, the elk are still there. They're not moving. They're not acting funny. Bull's still bugling his head off, like it's September 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And so we keep trudging up. There's a little 2-track ATV trail. And I say it's an ATV trail, but it's not a trail that anyone is legally allowed to be on.
It's a trail that somebody cut years ago, and it just stayed.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get up the first knob, and we're not anywhere close to the elk where we can shoot. We get up to the second knob. Again, we're not anywhere he's ready to shoot. We're probably 450 yards at that point. So I go, okay. I go, there's a little sliver of timber that comes out of this timber patch. I said, we need to get there. If we can get there, we can probably get you a shot at one of these elk that are bedded down on this open face. He says, okay. So off we go.
Okay.
We get to the next, I don't even think we made it to that sliver of timber. And I look up the trail, and probably 150, 175 yards, there's elk bedded in the middle of this ATV trail. So I immediately...
That's funny. I've not heard this, so...
Yeah. So I immediately take my bag off, lay on the ground, praying that these elk didn't see me by some miracle. And Greg's behind me, I don't know, 50, 75 yards, and I turn around, and I'm like, they're right here. Just up the mountain, they're right here. So he sneaks up to me, and it was kind of funny because he says he watches all these hunting videos, and he sees these guys lay down and go prone, and he told himself, he goes, I'm never going to do that.
Uh-huh.
So I go, okay.
Okay.
So I get my bag. It's a nice bag. It's an initial ascent. I set it up on end so he can shoot off the carbon fiber frame. It's a solid platform. And he gets set up and he's like, I'm shaking too bad. I can't do this. I said, then lay down.
That's what prone is for.
So he lays down, and by this time, the lead cow's like, okay, something's not right. These guys are rolling around on the ground doing something weird, and this is not normal. So the lead cow stands up, and she looks at us, and he's like, well, I'm laying down now, and I can't see the vitals on this elk. And I said, can you see the elk above her that's standing there looking at us? And he goes, well, yeah. And I go, shoot that one. So she's standing broadside at first, and then she turns kind of frontal. So I'm just kind of waiting for her to turn sideways or give us a nice broadside shot. And next thing I know, I hear the pop of a suppressor, and I see her do the leg wobble. And I'm like, oh, this got interesting.
This happened fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mind you, this ridge that we're on, if this cow runs off either side, we're doing a death march to get her out of there.
Yeah, I know where you were at.
Yeah.
And it's a hellhole on both sides.
Yeah.
There's no
We're dealing with 400 feet of elevation in blowdown timber on one side, or we're dealing with 600 feet of elevation in wide open, mud, sloppy, nasty, straight up and down hillside.
all
on
60-degree plus hillsides. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm telling him, hey, put another round in. Shoot her again, please. Shoot her in the shoulder this time. And I see the herd kind of stands up. The bull actually bugles. One of the bulls actually bugle again. And
Really?
they bunch up. And I was like, okay, figure out which cow you shot because we don't want to shoot two, right? We want to do the right thing. Let's make sure the one we're shooting is the one you already shot. And as we're sitting there, we sit there for about 10 seconds, and I see the cow doing the death wobble. And I was like, oh, she's going down. So she goes down on top of the ridge, like almost right in this little ATV trail, which was kind of nice. So we go up, and when she was at like 150 yards or so, I was like, she doesn't look giant. She doesn't look like that big lead cow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up, and this cow is longer than Greg.
Ginormous. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
For a cow.
I've packed bulls out smaller than this cow. So
Yeah, your son's bull that we shot down in a similar, not that spot, but in a similar canyon not too far from there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I have a
Little
tendency to put animals down and then figure out what I'm going to do after. I'm like, I can deal with the grind of getting this thing out, but I'll think about that after we put our hands on this animal. So he gets the cow down. We go up. I was like, hey, man, I tell him, we can't go back and recreate this. I like to slow this part down just for a few minutes. I was like, let's take some really good pictures.
Yeah.
So we take some good pictures of him. He hasn't killed he was telling me when we were up there, he hadn't killed an elk since the early 90s.
I'll tell you from a standpoint of, being my age and not too much younger than Greg, that is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
The older we get, obviously, it's kind of a thing. So
yeah. So we take the pictures. We took a bunch of good pictures, and then luckily, like Greg and I had been cruising around, and usually I don't see any deer this time of year. That in the units that we're in, they're gone. They've migrated. They're
gone. Yeah.
They're out of here. We saw bucks still rutting does too. Some not small deer either.
Yeah, good bucks. Yeah.
So we get his cow down, and thinking to myself at this point, I'm like, this is why I'm not a guide, because now I got to figure out how we're gonna get this elk out of here.
Well, and he's struggling.
Yeah. Mind
you,
you, we left his pack frame because I totally wasn't anticipating on us like running into the elk so quick.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
his pack frame's at the truck. I don't know, 1,200 feet below us.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So we get the elk all quartered up and everything like that. And I'm trying to figure out, hey, how are we going to get this elk back up here or back out of here? So I have a friend that lives in the area or acquaintance, and I was like, I'm going to give him a call because he's got some pack horses. And I know he's ran a pack string before into a couple job sites. So I call him, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He goes, I'm out of town right now. He goes, but I'll be home tonight. I said, cool. He's like, we got a cow down. And I sent him a location. I said, hey, man, I go, for those of you that don't know, a lot of packers don't like packing in the weather that we're in. It's slippery. It's really
tough.
easy to get a horse tore up.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
In some of these steep slopes, especially when they're muddy. So I call him up. I was like, hey, I'm just telling you up front, there's not a great trail in here. There's some cow trails. I tell him exactly where to go. Here's the Onyx pin. I hung all the meat in a tree. It was still kind of spitting snow at the time, but not really sticking. So I got the elk quartered up, hanging it in a tree. I have a lightweight tarp. I wrap the meat in the tarp, and I'm like, it's good for the night. So I call him up. Hey, can you get up here? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I can't do it tonight, but I'll do it first thing in the morning. So I don't know if any of you guys know horse guys. No offense, but I've yet to have one be on time yet.
First thing in the morning is subjective.
Yeah, there's chores that's got to be done. I get that. Horses got to be fed. All the other animals got to be dealt with. So I think he makes it up. Mind you, I'd sent him GPS points for the trail too. So it's about 11 o'clock. I call him. Hey, what are you doing? Thinking he's on the mountain getting the elk off for my friend because he's already checked out of his hotel and all that. And he's like, I'm just leaving. Just leaving the elk? He's like, no, I'm just leaving my house.
Okay.
All right. We're sitting down. We're basically kind of just waiting for the meat to get packed off the hill so we can go on our hunt. And because he said, I don't need any help. I got this. We're good. He's like, okay. So we go scout. In the area that we're scouting, we're glassing in, I can see exactly where this elk is hanging.
Yeah, we were watching it. We were looking at it through the glass.
Yeah. So,
because by this time I've showed up now. I finally got here from work.
Yeah. So I'm planning on, all right, me and Brian can go do our muzzleloader thing. He can get the meat, and then we can go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I think it's like 2 o'clock. Mind you, it's dark here by what?
5.
So,
yeah.
It's like 2 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, what's the deal? He's like, oh, man. He's like, I'm having some problems with one of my horses. He's being a jerk. I was like, all right, that happens. So, I was like, where are you at? He's like, I'm almost to the meat. And I go, okay, cool. So, from what I'm told, he gathers the meat and starts packing it out. I go, where are you packing it out from? And he's like, I'm going out.
We'll edit that out.
We'll edit that out, yeah.
It's fine.
He goes, I'm going down X Creek. And I was like, okay. And X meaning I'm not saying. The Snowtellum Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
That place. So, he's coming out that creek, and I go, okay, why'd you go in that way? Because I know there's a cliff in there that you cannot get horses up. Like, it's not
for the faint of heart on foot.
Friendly.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart for people on foot.
I've crawled up it on my hands and knees before. It's not fun. So I'm thinking to myself, and after I don't hear from him for another 30, 45 minutes, I'm like, hey, where are you at now? And he's like, we have a problem. What's that? He goes, so the elk meat I packed out wasn't his. It was somebody else's that was wrapped up just like yours in the picture you sent me. Okay. So he's like, they had a good day. So he packed their meat out for them most of the way. And I go, well, go to the GPS position or point that I sent you and go up that trail. So
to be fair, somebody shot an elk not far from where.
Yes, not far from where we were, but
hanging, and wrapped it in the same color tarp.
Yes.
So to be fair,
I get a hold of him. He's like, I'm headed for the trailer. I got to go around the other side of the mountain where I'd previously sent him GPS points for. So then off the mountain he goes. He gets his horses loaded up. He goes back. I haven't heard from him. I can't get a hold of him on his phone, which the area that I park at is kind of a dead zone.
Sketchy. Yeah, there's really very little service in that spot.
So I go up there and I see him leading the horses up because you're not riding horses up this mountain, not in this
steep
condition.
Yeah, not like this. Yeah.
So he's walking his horses up, and he gets up. He gets the elk loaded, and It's like 30 minutes before dark, 45 minutes before dark.
Yeah, I'd say probably about that because we were glassing our unit and looking at elk.
Yeah. So I call him. Go, hey, everything going okay? You got the elk? He goes, yep, got the elk. Okay. I call him back like 10 minutes later. Go, you got our elk this time, right? And he's like, we got a problem.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of hearing that.
I'm so tired of problems at this point. But the elk is loaded on a mule, but unfortunately, said rutting bull decided to walk up on the horses and nudge one of the horses, and off the horses went. Broke one of his head stalls, and off they go with meat attached. So at this point, I'm kind of panicking because it's getting dark, and this is not friendly country that you want to be traipsing around in the dark. Mm-hmm. You can easily get lost. There's multiple draws that all come down into one spot, and you get turned around really quick. So I'm concerned enough where I drive up there, and I could see a light going back and forth, but we can't really tell where he's at. I mean, we looked for him for probably an hour.
Yeah.
And then finally got him off the mountain, and I'm like, hey, where did you last see the horses?
Yeah, and mind you, I have gone to get dinner for us at this point, and have now, that's how long some of this was. It was more than an hour. So I went and got dinner for us, and then turned around, left town, went back up that mountain to bring you some food.
Yeah. So I think by the time we got him off the mountain, it was probably 9:30.
Oh, it was every bit of that.
Yeah. So we get him off the mountain 9:30, and I'm like, well, where are the horses? He's like, I can't find them. And he's like, the mare I have, I'm pretty sure she's going to go right back where I unloaded her from the trailer. And I was like, all right. Well, he's like, don't worry about it. I'm going to get another horse. I got a thermal optic that I can use, and I'm going to find these horses. And I was like, okay. I said, with the meat, right? Because that's all I'm concerned about. I don't want to waste this cow that we worked so hard
for. Poor Greg
for,
worked so.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
To his credit, he stayed up there till about 12:30, ended up catching the horse and the mule, got our meat. The meat came out unscathed.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. The only thing he lost on that deal was the bridle that from what was attached to, basically tied to the tree when that bull nudged them horses and ran them off. That was the only thing he lost. The saddle, the tack was good. Pack stuff was good. The meat was good. It was like the horses were good.
Yeah, everything was good.
And then he dropped that meat off at what?
1:15 in the morning. So
good for him. Like I said, he had a hell of a day, poor guy.
Yeah, he had
a bit of a rodeo.
Yeah.
Bit of a rodeo.
Yeah, he earned every bit of his packing fee that I paid him. So
it was a bit of a cluster, but it got done.
Yeah.
So to this point, we have now set up camp. Got a decent night's sleep, actually.
Yeah, the first night was actually kind of hot.
Yeah, it was a little warm.
Yeah, I think some guy cranked the heat up a little bit, and
hey, I was sleeping in my house.
Yeah.
So I got that done, but we slept good, got up, and woke up to rain.
Yeah. Which I don't think is ended still. It's
still raining. So, and mind you, we are still on location, and it's sitting in my pickup currently and watching it rain on the window. It's Tuesday. So, so we go on a march. We go on a death march on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of had an idea where some elk were, so I was like, we went to go to a spot where we knew.
We know.
We're confident. Like, I had driven up the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, while I was dealing with this whole packing episode, like, I'd gone out scouting.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove up the road. It had snowed the night before. I don't know how, because it was by some miracle snowing. And I saw where the elk had crossed the road. Very fresh sign. I'm like, all right, cool, they're here.
Yeah.
So
we go and we get up the same place. We don't see any fresh sign, but we get up there and it's snowing.
Yeah, and fogged in
and blowing. Oh.
Yeah.
Cold snow, and the snow is kind of that. It's kind of like
light hail.
Yeah, like
it just pelts you,
like getting hit in the face with a bag of cornflakes.
Yeah. It's
So,
like a BB gun war on the mountain, really.
So get up there, and we go. What do we decide that was 5 miles?
Yeah, it felt like 20, but Well,
Yeah.
we can go with 5.
5, and so we go around this entire, basically around this entire mountain, and end up looping back. So we're at the bottom,
Yeah, I don't remember how many thousand feet elevation we do that day.
right at 1,000.
Yeah. And,
Right at, but that was gain and loss, right? So
and we should make a disclaimer for people that have not hunted here or hunted out west. Like, a lot of times what you see on YouTube is not what you get when you show up on a public land hunt. You got to earn it.
mm-hmm.
So,
the brush patch that we climbed that steepest
oh, we earned
part.
it. We earned it.
That brush was monstrous, but we got it done. But we did get in there. We did finally find some fresh sign in the bottom, which I thought was interesting for the weather. But they've been in the timber, in the heavy timber, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense with the rain. And we got further down we went, the more it was raining and less it was snowing. Turned around, went back up. As we went up, the more it was snowing and the less it was raining.
And the more it was windy.
Mm-hmm. Get back to the truck, nothing.
Not even a fresh track.
Nope, nothing. So we chalked it up. That was basically the whole day we spent pretty much the whole day on that excursion.
Yeah, soaking wet.
Mm-hmm. To the point where we went back to town and went to the laundromat and dried threw our clothes in the dryer.
Yeah,
because we were soaked all the way through, even through rain gear and stuff. It was that wet. Go back to camp, and the rain quit.
Yeah, but it was still raining in the tent at that point.
It was. So we get back to the tent, and
you forgot to add that we had to take your sleeping bag to town to dry it out as well. Oh, that's true.
Okay, yeah, so I forgot about that. So we get back to camp and realize that the condensation there is basically turned into a giant
swamp.
Yeah, I was going to say sauna, but it wasn't warm.
No.
So
no, it was cold, swampy, nasty.
Took my poor sleeping bag and we took it back because it's down and I didn't want to sleep in wet down. So we went back to town and dried everything off. Went back and lit up a fire. Got that thing nice and hot inside and dried it off inside. Worked out great.
Yeah, that night
slept
was
great.
fine.
Well, I mean, slept awesome. It was fantastic. So we get up on what is now Monday.
Yeah.
And we actually got some special permission.
Yeah.
To go through a place that not many people get to go through, which is kind of cool.
No, I pulled some strings.
You did. And it got us into some public land that is not inaccessible to the public. It's not landlocked, but this time of year there's
some challenges.
Challenge getting to it with weather and road conditions and everything else. And so coming in from the bottom is much more
time consuming.
Yeah. So we were able to basically circumvent that with the blessings of these people, which was fantastic. So we get in there, and we no kidding, get up there, get the truck parked, put the glass up, and we're like, "There's elk."
Yeah, right at daylight, perfect.
600 yards.
Yeah, 600 yards.
Yeah. So we make a hunt on them. Mind you, this is a muzzleloader hunt, so 600 yards is not doable.
And it's the west, so 600 yards is a straight line.
Yeah, but it wasn't a straight.
There was a canyon between us still.
So we get back and around. We go down into the bottom of this canyon. We basically get our eyes on them. They're coming towards us. So we're basically moving ourselves into a position to ambush them. We get up to a spot. We cross an old trail and get to in behind this tree. And sure enough, we ambushed them. They came right back out. This is where some lessons were learned. Your gun went.
It almost went down the mountain.
Well, it did because it went click.
Yeah.
Because there was no primer in it.
I think it's because I had to break it open a couple times to actually get the hammer to lock back.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, that's he's shooting a CVA LRX. And for whatever reason, the breech plug was super tight and when closing the breech on that. And with this Northwest system, it's got to be open to the elements, and there's some challenges with that to begin with. And then I think, well, I did fix it last night.
Yeah. But
the fore end was too tight from coming from the factory, and I think from shooting it earlier in the day, or on Saturday rather, we built up some carbon on that face, and it was just a tight enough fit to begin with. It was just too tight, and so you literally had to slam that thing shut. What we think happened was when he opened it to slam it shut, the primer fell out, and when it went click,
or the cap.
Yeah, the cap, primer cap, same thing. But, yeah. The ignition source.
Yes. There was no ignition source to be found.
The musket cap was someplace in the snow because we were actually up in the snow. His gun goes click. The herd moves off down the ridge, and at this point they were like, what, 54 yards?
Yeah, they popped out right at 50 yards. I remember
Yards.
the first elk I see is a small spike, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, they're close.
Yeah, and then three cows walked out behind him.
Yep.
Gun goes click, and I'm not shooting at this point, because you had the angle. Number one, you had the angle, and B, you've also got the non-resident tag. I don't have to pay the big money, so I'm all about waiting, and we kind of agreed upon that anyway earlier on. So his gun goes click. They come out into an opening there at 154 is what they were, where they stopped.
Yeah, about that.
And then I ended on a round while he's screwing with his gun and got down on a knee, and I take a shot, and I hit one of the smaller cows at that 154 yards. And mind you, this is a musket cap driven black loose powder, no pellets, no nothing special, muzzleloader with a 100 or 275 grain bullet. My shot placement was less than optimal.
Yes.
And I think with a little bit of the breeze that we had going, coupled with the distance, I put it in behind the rib cage and got a bit of a gut shot on her. And we ended up tracking her and bumping her a couple of times for 5 miles before the blood stopped. So unfortunately, that's part of it sometimes, but I did end up losing that cow, and punched my tag yesterday afternoon as a result of that.
Yep.
So now basically I'm tagged out. Not the good kind of tagged out, but nonetheless,
it's the ethical thing to do.
Yeah, and it was the right thing to do, because that cow,
Yeah.
we firmly believe that elk was going to go in there and die based on the places that she'd laid down. She continued to lay down every 500-600 yards, and then we would find her and then bump her again, and a couple of times we got some quick snapshots going into the brush on her, but it was tough conditions and very thick timber.
And then ultimately we lost blood when
the blood
she
stopped.
got in with into the herd tracks where
right.
There was mud kicked up on the snow.
Yep.
And it just became
when we were tracking her for the first couple of miles, it was much easier.
Yeah, it was clean snow
and was clearly blood. There was a lot. It was very easy to track her where she was going. When she got into the tracks with the rest of the herd, the blood just stopped.
Yeah,
I don't know if like fat or whatever sealed it back up, or if it was just impossible to see in the snow, but it was not possible. And we continued yet for another at least a mile.
Yeah.
Down that hill.
Yeah.
Into that basin.
We walked 5 miles looking for her.
5 miles and the whole day.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like we were just walking 5 miles. We were walking the 5 miles and zigzagging and crossing and backtracking and laying points down, waypoints in Onyx and Go Hunt maps to label where we've been finding all this evidence. And I don't know what time we get out of there. 3:00.
Yeah, right about the time it started raining again.
About the time it started raining, and the problem is up there at that elevation, we had enough snow that the snow and the rain was going to make for treacherous conditions getting out. So we spent another couple hours in there looking for her. Once the rain hit, we called it, and I filled my tag. So lesson learned on that for me was twofold. One, I had time, and I should have, and I had a comfortable position. I should have taken more time with the shot.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, going through the shot sequence in my head, that one's on me, and I'll own that one. And then the second thing I did was I got sucked into finding her, and with the first time we bumped her, I think if we'd left her alone for 45 minutes to an hour,
she might have went around the corner and just died.
Just tipped over and died. So two mistakes, and ultimately on both of those, I know better, but it is what it is. I go back through it in my mind. It's the first time I've lost an animal since we went back through the dates. First time I've actually lost an animal since 2006. So it's part of it. It happens.
Yeah, unfortunate, but
it's unfortunate. I made some mistakes.
Nobody wants any animal to go through that. And
no, and we're hunting cow elk, and I'm in it for the meat too, right? So I'm pull all the stops out to try to find this thing.
Yeah,
I don't want her to suffer, and I want her in my freezer.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, a little bummed out about that part of it. That part sucked. But we get back, starting to rain, went and had a good dinner, hung out, did our thing.
Yeah, we cruised around town a little bit,
Mhm.
and then retreated to camp shortly before dark.
To find
It was swampy.
a swamp. So it had
And
rained.
raining.
It had rained about 2 inches or inch and a half to that point that day, and we were actually on a hilltop.
Yeah.
But even on this hilltop, it wasn't. We were on a hilltop, but it wasn't like a mountain hill. It was gently sloping, but we had enough water under the tent that we had water in the tent.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the seams, we had so much water that the seams were starting to fail.
Yep.
And so we had water now coming in the tent, which made problems for the stove.
We actually had gone to the store the prior day
Uh-huh.
that the tent was swampy and bought towels and carpets and anything we could to try to soak
to
up some of
mitigate
this moisture so we could get it out of the tent.
And it worked until then, and then we just had moisture on top of the towels and the carpet.
Yeah, it was raining in the tent.
So we sat there for a bit. I started another fire and got it kind of a smoky fire going, and it really didn't go where, because I'm running a gravity fed pellet stove, and the pellets had gotten wet. So wet pellets and fire don't really go great. It was warm, but it wasn't warm enough to dry everything off inside. And so we talked about it, and I just made the call.
Yeah.
We pulled the ripcord. We left
We had
camp.
to abandon the ship.
Abandon ship.
Abandon ship.
Yep.
We're out of here.
And so you went and stayed with some friends that live here in town.
Yep.
And I went and got a room at the inn, which is very nice, by the way.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad. Brand new motel in town, and it's actually not bad. I'm pretty impressed. So did that. And then this morning we got up to
More
rain. It never stopped. So
actually, we got up and it wasn't quite raining yet.
it was drizzle.
It was a drizzle.
Yeah,
So we had to go. We were going to try to go scout some elk first thing this morning.
And we did. We drove around and parked on a mountain and basically glassed into some country. And
then looked at the weather forecast and we're like, we should probably get the rest of camp.
Yeah, we were looking at the forecast, looking at our phone, looking at the weather radar, and then looking at the mountain that it was rolling over. Like, we probably had to get this done before it gets too wet. So we did. Rolled up camp, and as we're sitting there rolling up camp, just got done.
I had to give it one more.
I know you gave it, dude. You gave
I'm
it
here
your
to
all.
hunt. I'm not here to look at the mountains and the rain.
Believe me, I'm with you. Right. So you catch elk in the basin that we've been looking in the 2 days prior, trying to find them.
Yes. And they were there.
Congratulations, by the way, on that. That was a good spot.
Yeah, they were there. They were right where they were.
We figured they were about 4,000 yards from us. Roughly.
Yeah, roughly.
Give or take.
I don't think the muzzleloader can shoot that far.
No, I'm not sure. I'm sure we're talking battleship distances at this point. But so we drove up the road to this place we know that it's got a wide spot. We can basically run up a ridge, but we're still 2 miles. Is that what we said it was? 2 miles in there?
Yeah, it was 2 miles in there and 1,000 feet elevation.
Well, up the first pitch.
Yeah, the first part.
So we we actually did make pretty good time up there. We made this 2 mile trek in elevation up there in right at just under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Got up in there and got you on the elk. We got to where I finally stopped in the timber. This is a great stock, by the way. Where I stopped in the timber because I didn't want double the noise and double the smell.
Well, and we were trying to figure out where they were at because when we first pop over the ridge into this basin, we can see the elk, but they're going into the timber, and it's just getting ready to start like really raining. Really raining. So the concern is that we've kind of noticed is these elk aren't really super happy being in the rain. So we got to make a play on them, and we got to try to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
Some fog had rolled in. We couldn't really see both sides of this ridge we were on because there's a couple different basins we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And by some miracle, the fog just barely cleared out. And we're like, hey, there's a whole bunch of elk like bedded down right next to us.
There.
Yeah.
We put a range on them. They're 526 yards.
Yeah.
Now with a rifle tag, nothing but net.
Yeah, done.
Right?
Game over.
My tag was already punched, but if my tag had not been punched, both of us had a rifle up there, we would have been
game over.
Doubled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we laid down, suppressed rifle, and it would have been.
Might not have been a fun pack out, but we would have been done.
Yes.
Yeah.
High fives, some grip and grins.
Yeah, a couple pictures. We're out.
And dull knives by the end of the night.
Yep.
we get in there, we make a plan. We get down into the timber off this finger that we think can get us close to him, and it did. When I finally stopped in that last stand of timber, I was at 250 yards from him.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
I
a
stopped.
nothing. That's a nothing but net shot with a rifle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even have to prone out. Nothing. I'm
We could
shooting that
lean
offhand.
right off a tree.
Yeah.
So we can clearly see them. They can't necessarily see us because we're in the timber and stuff, but we can look out through
And
the
the
timber.
wind is great.
And
the wind is
perfect.
right in our face.
Blowing right up the draw.
Yep.
And so I stop. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna camp here, because I don't want the noise and twice the odor, right? The two of us in here is one too many. So I got a front row seat.
Yeah. And
my perspective was fantastic.
So we should describe it. So we have a draw between us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are in a timber pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're at, most of the south-facing slopes are all grass.
Yes.
There's
Open
no
face
cover.
and sagebrush.
If there's sagebrush.
Yeah.
Most of it's just grass.
Yeah.
So I got to try to figure out how I'm going to get to these elk on this knob, because they're kind of there's kind of a couple little dips in this knob, and I don't want to spook them. I don't want them to see me coming up through the opening. So I sneak down through the brush, and I get to this creek bottom, which is normally dry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ankle deep water at this point.
And rushing. You
down
can hear
the
it.
hill.
Yeah, you can hear the water running down the mountain. It's impressive.
Yeah, thank goodness for the rushing water, because it really dampened the sound as I was crossing this creek and going through the brush. And
you did pop a pretty good stick at one point. I heard it, but it was muffled.
Yeah.
The water covered that noise pretty good.
Yeah, and the brush is so thick, I don't care what you do, you're going to pop a
brush.
stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I cross the creek, and I look up the hill, really want to scan before I come out of the brush to make sure there's no elk there. I'm like, okay, I know where the elk were at, and I know where they're feeding to. I know
and you
the
played the
direction
wind.
They're heading. Yeah.
You played the wind. You went up the draw with the direction of the wind, and in turn, and basically you put your face to the wind, and they were going to be
I put in some
money. It was like I said, front row seat, dude. I watched you come out of it because I wasn't sure I lost you as you went down. It was at one point, and I saw you turn and come out of that. I was like, oh yeah,
yeah. This is going to be a slam dunk.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
I might have to defend myself with my muzzleloader if I don't put this elk down in one shot. I might be in a fight. So I start creeping my way up the
open
ground.
face.
Yeah, it's really an open face, but the ground is hard to describe. So you look at the ground and you see rocks and you see grass and you see some almost looks like decomposed granite. Is like the best I can describe it. But it's mush.
Well, we've had 3 inches of rain.
Yeah. But I'm trying to do the best I can to be very stealthy while I'm going up this hill. And as I'm rising the crest, I'm like, okay, I'm going to see them at any point.
Mm-hmm.
The bag gets ready to come off. The rain cover comes off the rifle. I'm like, all right, we're getting this done. Right? Because I don't hear any hooting and hollering that they left or anything like that. So I'm like, they're here.
Right, they're still there.
Yeah, I'm like, this is going to happen. So I'm ready to go, and I start sneaking, putting in my stock. I can't see the elk where I'm at, but Brian can.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I get to where I thought the elk would be, or where they were. I'm looking up the hill. I'm looking down the hill. I can't quite see the basin this bigger herd was in. But I'm like, they got to be right here. They have to be.
They were just a little bit higher.
Yeah. So I start creeping, just doing my thing as quiet as I can. And then I get all the way up there. There's a big flat, and I'm like, well, heck, all the elk are gone. And then I got a text message. So apparently, while I was sneaking up, I actually felt it on the back of my neck, and I thought about it, and I was like, do I stop and just turn around and go back? Or do I hope they didn't smell me and just make this happen?
So as soon as the wind shifted, because I felt it, because where I was at too, 5 heads all immediately went up and looked your direction. And they can't see you, mind you, where you're at.
No. They have no idea.
The gig, she's up.
Yeah. And obviously I can't see how close I am to the elk, but Brian can tell you how close I was.
50 yards minus.
Yeah. So within 50 yards. Mm-hmm. Or close.
Where you would have come up and actually been able to see them would have been about 35 yards.
Yeah. So I had another 20 yards to go, and Mother Nature decided to throw me a curveball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The wind was predominantly blowing out of the north, and for that instant, for about the next 30 seconds, it blew out of the south.
You get a 30-second drubbing because it did that, and then immediately turned and went back the other direction again.
Yeah. Yep. So I get up there and see the gig is up. So
yep.
I turn around to do the walk of shame, all
And
of this elevation the
head
whole
hung,
way out.
Head hung. Damn it. I got the new iPhone. I don't remember which one it is, like the 18 or whatever it is. It's the brand new one that came out with the new camera.
Yeah.
Nice phone, actually. But
fancy.
It's got satellite messaging in it.
Yeah. My phone has messaging too.
Did you have the satellite on, or was you?
Yeah, my satellite.
So I had to like figure out how to use, because they spotted him, and so I had to figure out how to use the satellite real quick and get it connected and send a deal.
Yeah,
they see you.
Yeah, and that was the time that I was like, "All right, we're done with this. We're on to Plan B, which involves just walking out of here because I don't know a person. Cameron Haynes couldn't chase these elk down.
No, they were gone.
They were
headed out.
They were running ridges.
Yeah, they were headed out. It was, and to our end, it was like raining now.
Yeah.
And so all the little streams, well, the entire mountainsides that we'd been walked up on that were just damp.
Yeah, you could have water skied down the hills.
Now they're running water all down them. It's freaking amazing. We had the places there were no ponds, like puddles, like not puddles because they're ponds.
Just depressions in the ground.
They're full of water.
Yeah,
on the way down it, and the ground was just saturated with mush. I'm actually glad where we're at with the rock in the ground here, because I'm not sure the ground would stay put in other places.
No.
So
no, there'd be mudslides and all kinds of bad stuff going on.
So that leads us to where we're at right now. Like I said, when we talked about doing this, I'm going to make this a 2-part.
Yeah.
Because you're going to continue on.
Yeah. So I got my son's going to come into town on Thursday, so I'll hunt tomorrow, and then I actually have to go meet him in Nevada to pick him up, and then drive back into here. So
into this nondescript location,
nondescript location
in the Northwest.
Yeah, somewhere in the Northwest.
Yeah.
Somewhere where it's raining and there's still snow.
Where the atmospheric river is causing havoc.
Yeah, that's the only clue I'll give you.
And where I live currently, there's a flood warning.
Yeah.
In effect, which is neat. So, so that's where we're at. So what I want to do is get you back after you get home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And wrap this up and see how
it goes.
See how you did.
Yeah. Hopefully, I just got to close the deal. Mother Nature's got to help me out just a little.
Just a little bit. And you know what? If patience, skill, and luck, right?
Yeah. You gotta be on it every time.
Every time. And this muzzleloader hunting, I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Every time you have to be perfect the first time, because you only get one.
You only get one. That is correct.
It's a lot like archery in a lot of ways, but we don't get the good weather conditions that September bring.
And to be honest, with the archery equipment, they know something's up, especially if they get shot, but they don't typically just spook a lot,
right?
Really bad.
Well, we're hunting in a situation where they've had a month of archery.
Yeah.
And they had
rifle seasons.
Well, we've had multiple cow elk seasons in here, right? So from the beginning of October all the way through the 3rd of November, and then another cow season, the middle of November to the end of November.
Yeah.
And now this one here. So these elk have been running around. So we're at the mercy of that. And this hunt is very, very, very weather dependent. Normally we're running in, down in this level here, we're running in, 8 to 10 inches of snow here in town.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally this is takes you 5 minutes to glass some elk up, and it's like, all right, let's make a game plan on these.
And you can go basically make multiple stalks a day on groups of elk if you blow one or two, right? So this is not the case this year. We've made, in effect, 2 stalks.
Yeah. I mean, really got pretty close to success both times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I'm going to basically call mine a success, even though I had a failure. Does that make sense? I still filled the tag. So, looking this, the bright side, right? So I just don't get to eat her, which is a bummer.
Yeah, that's not good.
But in the ear stock today was textbook. We just, the wind screwed you bad.
Yeah. And I don't know how.
For a brief second too.
We're down in a draw. Like the wind was consistent the whole time.
And it's the direction the storm is going.
Yes.
So for it to switch for, literally 30 seconds to a minute,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And then the wind blew the proper direction the entire walk out of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it never shifted again.
Just wasn't my time.
Apparently not.
Nope.
So, but you've got your finger on the pulse, and we know where they're at.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up part 1.
Yeah.
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 We'll
Absolutely.
back and do this again.
Be back for part 2.
It won't be in person, unfortunately. You got to go back to the real world, and I have to go back to the real world.
But more adventures to come soon.
Yeah, we have 2026 planned out and
2027.
2027. So we should probably talk about that
Next time.
Yeah. You good with that?
I'm good with that.
Right on, man. All right. Cool, guys. Well, that's a pod.
I could live out here for the rest of my days.